Hello, everybody. It's meteorologist Hutch Johnson. We have quiet conditions here heading into our Monday evening, but it looks less than quiet for the deer opener. Mild weather becomes wild weather. Update on the track and timing of that potential flaky weather is coming up right now. You are watching Hutch's Weather.
Now, a Hutch's Weather Update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson, brought to you by Robert Gibb and Sons.
All right, we're going to start with a dose of right now. We have very quiet weather on the radar right now. A few green blips showing up in parts of northeast Montana, and that is it. Now, as far as temperatures go, it isn't hot, but it's been pretty nice, a little on the breezy side. So temperatures coolest up by Winnipeg, where you see the light blues here. And as the numbers populate here, we're going to see 50s for Grand Forks and for Fargo, 40s Jamestown, and in Devil's Lake. Right now in Minnesota, we have temperatures around that 50-degree mark. And look at this, Glendive, Montana, northeast Montana, in the Big Sky country, 48 gorgeous degrees out there. Now, we have to go all the way down to the south before we start seeing some of these warmer colors near 60s, as that cold air is spread all the way down into the Ohio River Valley. And look at the really cold stuff not far from Calgary, where you see the pink and the mountains there. It is a little on the chilly side up in those parts. So that's what's going on right now, and our forecast is not looking too terrible. Let's get to the 7-day details, and we'll talk more about the specifics with the weekend. First things first, temperatures will hold in the 50s all the way through Thursday. Now, we will have a few of you in portions of the north of Highway 2, that get some rain and maybe mixed precipitation in the cold temperature timeframes up along the international border. Good afternoon, Mary Ellen. Good to have you on board. Thanks for watching. It's been a beautiful day, and thank you for watching. Let me make sure I've got everybody turned on. Nathan here, thank you for watching as well, and thank you for dropping a comment. Now, notice the big time change. On Thursday, we're going to have a little bit of a break, and then shazam, here we go. On Friday, falling temperatures in the afternoon will lead to those clouds and winds. And hey, Nathan, good to have you on board as well. Ethan, good to see you. Look at this. Noon Friday is a deer gun opener in North Dakota. It begins on Saturday. We'll have mixed precipitation Friday that overnight looks to be making its way through parts of eastern North Dakota and, western Minnesota as we head on in to your weekend. So Saturday looks, well, we'll just call it blustery. There'll be gusty winds. This is an Alberta Clipper type system working its way through. Rain and snow. I have a graphic here to show you a little bit more on the details with regards to the early thinking on the track, and we'll compare models if you want to see them. Is Moorhead this weekend going to get a winter storm and a blizzard? I don't think we're looking at winter storm type criteria. That would be 8 inches of expected snowfall and dangerous travel conditions, but we could get some wind and snow mixing to make things a little on the bleak side for some of those folks traveling in and around on hunting time. And really, it's a little ways out, as you notice here, so there could be some changes. So don't want to really get anybody in an uproar over this. It's just something to keep in mind. Afterwards, it looks like we're going to be, putting our hands in the armpits here with morning temperatures as cold as they've been all year for Fargo. Sunday and into Monday. Now, let's compare models, because this is where things get fun, and it allows us to see, are the models in agreement or not? And just like we have with hurricanes or other storm systems, yes, there's going to be some adjustments and maybe sometimes some real large scale adjustments. However, we do have some agreement between these models as we head into our weekend, and that gives me some solace with regards to the track of the system. We're going to look at the European on the global national scale so we get a chance to see the big picture, and then we'll take a look a little closer with the American model. So this is the European model guidance. Now, as we go through the week, we have this little weather wiggle wobbling through as we go into your Tuesday night and Wednesday. No significance whatsoever. Cold air dives down into the Great Lakes region. Meanwhile, out west, it's nice and warm for the Rocky Mountains. After that, as we head into Friday, here we go. There's your hunting opener, Alberta Clipper. Thanks, Alberta. It's okay. We need the moisture in some spots. Now, this comes through as we back it up. Notice the snow on the cold side or the north side. And as it tracks from basically from the north and west to the south and east, it'll bring mixed precipitation as we go into Friday, and that's out of here. Now, that's a Friday morning system. This is the morning time. Then as we head into, well, here we go, Friday night and Saturday. Clipper number 2 works its way out, and this one a little farther south track, and the European model here shows it impacting the Red River Valley and western Minnesota as we go into Saturday morning. Now, Very strong north winds on the backside mean the oil patch, if you're hunting out in the zones out there, could have some pretty impactful wind and some more cold air out there, making things a little on the icier side. As we go deeper into the daylight hours, more of it will be mixing with rain, and particularly here in the southern Red River Valley, but it looks like a good chunk of northern Minnesota has a chance at seeing a few flakes fly as we go through the midday hour. By the time we get to the afternoon, it is outy, but the gusty north winds will continue across Minnesota. That is a look at the European model. Now, let's, as promised, go back up and take a peeky boo at what's going on with the American model. Here we go. Now, we'll zoom in. Whoop, there we go. What's this one doing? Is it similar or is it different? Okay, and if it's different, that's okay, but that would mean that there's a little less confidence in this system. But I do got to tell you, DNuts420, what up with you? Hope you're doing good. Ethan, thank you. Glad you had a great weekend and went to a rock concert. Wow. Thank you very much. I'm glad you liked the costume. That was actually my fill-in weathercaster for the day, Ethan. Thank you very much. Okay, now let's get to the American model here. Okay, there is your Thursday little weather spit coming through, and then the second system, as we go into Friday, makes its way through. And yes, the American model guidance does have the cold front of the Alberta Clipper with the north winds making its way through on Friday in the morning hours. Then here comes the main event. So there's that early one, Thursday night, Friday. Then Alberta Clipper 2. So both of these models have two Clipper systems, one coming through Thursday and into Friday, and the other one coming in Friday and into Saturday. Here it is, low pressure, gusty winds, rain mixed with snow as we go into Saturday morning. So for your Friday midday forecast for you folks in North Dakota, you'll have Clipper 1 possibly impacting you with some precipitous precipitation of the white variety. And then this baby loggers through, and look at it. It really brings the better chance of snow down to the south on the American model. Either way, no matter what the track is, they both the primary models for this extended forecast are showing a decent chance of snow across the region. Let's take a look at the snowfall track and potential amounts on this particular American model by the time we get to your Saturday. And this is going to take into account both of them. So by Sunday morning or late Saturday night, let me back this up. Here you go. You're going to notice that because of the American model's more southerly track of system number 2, Friday night into Saturday morning, it has this track of snow from basically Williston down into Wahpeton and Lisbon and old Ellendale over here, with not so much in the north. Now, when we switch the model over and we take a look at the old European model here, as we let it roll through, shazam, it's keeping everything up and into the northern areas. So this is by the time we get to your Sunday morning, and it has some pretty heavy amounts. I wouldn't pay any attention to that yet. It's much too early to define snowfall amounts. It's hard enough to predict how much rain we're getting tomorrow. But the tracks are in the same orientation, northwest to southeast. Both models do incorporate snowfall, and both models incorporate some snowfall potential. So here's Hutch's take on this. I'm leaning toward the answer or solution from the European model at this point. I'm saying a solid covering on grassy areas of 1 to maybe 3 inches as we go along the northern tier, along and north of, say, Highway 5. And certainly north of Highway 2. With the rest of us, a trace to 1 inch or so on grassy areas. No snow, please, says KH-Cat9. Hi, good to have you in St. Paul, Minnesota. Thanks for watching. And in St. Paul, depending on the model, okay, the American model we just showed a little bit of activity down to the south into South Dakota. But for this model, it's keeping everything mainly north in the Brainerd Lakes area, Malacca, and all the way out towards Duluth. And then if you are in northern parts of North Dakota, look out! We got a chance for some shovel trouble. And that's the way I see it. So now let's summarize your forecast if there's no questions. Simon, thank you for watching all the way from Duluth, Minnesota. West wind 5 to 12 for your Tuesday morning, 7:15, the time of cock-a-doodle-doo. 33 degrees in Fargo to start your day, 32 in Grand Forks. It will be a little bit cooler down to the south, and we will have more clouds up north, blanketing you in a layer of warmth that will have you smiling when you're heading out the door. Now, as we go into the afternoon, look at the heat is on. A southerly component to the wind, southeasterly here in the southern half, keeping us in the near 50-degree range for many. And how about mid-50s in Fargo? And then up north in Winnipeg, up in parts of Saskatchewan here, we're expecting more of a northerly component to the wind and some scattered showers of rain in the afternoon, working their way from west to east. So anywhere you see these green colors in the 40s, clouds and a few showers and spits of rain are in your forecast. And now a look. Woo! Terry, thank you so very much for sharing stars with Hutch and helping support Hutch's weather. All right, I will have an update tonight. Now, there's not going to be a new model that I trust coming out until about 11 o'clock at night. After that, we can take a look at changes to the snow forecast for the Deer Gun opener in both North Dakota and Minnesota. So keep that in mind. You might see updates on other places, but really no model differences come out. I do not trust these mid-model runs that happen about that run beginning at around the lunch hour, and then those that begin. But those that begin at around 6 p.m. and 6 a.m., those are dealing with real data that we measure throughout the depth of the atmosphere. I can't believe I'm saying this, but a little snow during hunting is actually kind of nice. Alicia, you're right. A lot of hunters ask me the same thing. Is it going to snow? It sure would be nice. It helps us track the deer and all of those things. And I think that's better for everybody. Blaze orange, be safe, do everything safe, but be prepared for wind and snow in the early hours of Saturday and in the late hours of Friday during this event. Temperatures are going to fall like a 2-ton heavy thing on the big old toe out there as we see morning lows in the mid-teens. I think we'll see some of our first single-digit lows in the region as we go into Monday morning with the passage of this system. That is a look at your weather. Now, if you have any questions whatsoever, I will be happy to show you anything else that you might want to see real quickly here, and I will take a look at some other guidance. This says European model on here. Let me go back and take a look. There's a neat other option here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the model that is run out of Germany. So we'll go ahead and pull up the German model here and see what it says, because sometimes it's good to look at everything. And let's look at the Canadians too real quickly to wrap this up, because you guys are here asking questions and joining me, so let's take a look. This is a look at the German model for Thursday. There's your little clipper system, number one, working its way through with rain. This is Friday in the morning hours, so that moves through mainly as rain, but southern Canada, a chance for some flakiness. Now, as we head, there's clipper two rolling out, and boom, shaka and boom, laka, shaka, laka. We got a system that's model 3 showing the potential for some snow and wind as this system works its way through. First hitting North Dakota as we go through the Saturday morning time frame, and then the gusty north winds take hold as it moves south and east. And that does include St. Paul, and it does include parts of Wisconsin with a chance for some light snow accumulation, but wind and cold for sure is in the forecast. Now, let's take a look at the Canadian model, because it's always good to see what our Canadian friends have as output from their model and computer forecast guidance. So there is your Thursday system, much farther south, I might add, with the rain chances. And then as you look at the snow chances, those are also a little farther south as a result of the track of this storm being farther to the south. Here comes system 2. It's an Alberta clipper straight out of Calgary. And as it rolls through the northern Rockies, this track is farther north. So the Canadian model has it north, but then it melds. A low pressure system develops here in the central Rockies rolling out of Wyoming, and then it dives south and eastward as a result of that. So this one is more stretched out, which would mean it would impact a greater area, potentially with snowfall, but not necessarily heavy snowfall for anybody, because you're stretching that energy out over a huger area. So oftentimes that can lead to a less impactful snowfall potential from these systems. That's 4 models. 4 out of 4 say Saturday flakes are in your forecast. That's the way Hutch sees it. Oh, Canada, says Simon. I hear you. I understand that. Bruce says, howdy, Hutch. Which model do you believe? I put my rocks in the old European model to start, and then we'll start adjusting. Now, if we took a look at 4 here today, and 3 out of the 4 have a more northerly track. The American model is the one that really rips it right through, say, Williston to the southern Red River Valley and down into southern Minnesota. It's the only one saying that solution so far. So just by the number of averages, most models' solutions have a more northerly track for the snow. I'm going with that. Here's another little bit of just basic knowledge about the regional forecast and the regional conditions we usually see here in the Red River Valley. The Red River Valley is the lowest, basically, elevation in the valley. That's why it's called the valley. It's the bottom of Lake Agassiz here, and it's very, very low. And because of the difference in terrain and things like that, we do end up staying oftentimes a little milder here. So while our neighbors to the west in Jamestown or Devil's Lake could be getting flakes, or in northern Minnesota could be getting flakes, we oftentimes have a little bit harder time seeing that changeover from rain to snow. So we'll keep all of these little curveballs in mind, and as things get a little closer with the models, I will keep you apprised of what's going on. I'll have a nice update coming up a little later. Bonnie Iverson-Hellman, it's a pleasure to have you on board, and my Montana neighbors and friends, you can kind of see that things up to the north have a chance at changing as well. And now, with the rest of the month of November, because we're all here having a great time, let's go ahead and take a look at some climate forecast. How is November looking? Remember, the official forecast was for November to be a little bit on the wild side, but does this model show that? So let's go ahead and have a peeky-boo at what we're going to see here. Now, as we put this into motion, you're looking at the Wednesday, Thursday of this week, and we start to see our little weather wiggle wobbling through on Thursday. That's round one, working its way through, keeping most of snow in Canada. Round two for the deer gun opener, here it is as we go into Saturday morning. A little bit more of a northerly component to that one too. But this is a climate model. What does the climate model do? It has a more spread apart grid, so it's not as detailed. And it tends to overblow the aerial coverage as a result of where the snow and rain might hit. Keep these things in mind. So those two little fast clippers clip on their way through, and then we get this big bubble of red. That is a warm setup right here. So the Rocky Mountains, Montana, into the Western Dakotas really warming up on the 10th of the month, and that leans into the Central Plain states with very quiet weather nationwide as we go into the middle of the month. The storm track remaining locked into Canada for the time being. Then, shazam! A low pressure center as we go toward the middle of the month hits the central Pacific coast. And as that happens, that's going to really allow this pattern to shift to the south just a little bit with the track of these low pressure systems. And boom, by the time we get to the middle of the month, there could be another system skirting, the cold air returning to the northern plains, meaning that our chances for snow as we get into the middle to latter part of November could be a little interesting. This model guidance is showing around the 20th an uh-oh moment, a Colorado low. Colorado lows produce more of our 1 foot events here, more of our 8-inch events here than do some of the other type systems like Alberta Clippers. So you can bet I'll be watching this, but I can guarantee you this is not something that is throwing up red flags for me yet. Too much can change by this. And really, is it going out on a limb for Hutch to tell you that it might be more wintry the second half of November than the first half? Serious questions, only on Hutch's Weather. HutchesWeather.com. Speaking of HutchesWeather.com, we've looked all the way through the middle of the month of November. Let me get back to the middle of the month. Here's that big wacko coming in, and then boom, everything shifts and stays north. Oh no, 22nd of the month, another shot at some snow. As we get in closer to that Thanksgiving holiday, we could be seeing some unsettled weather for a few areas, of course, but that's not unusual as things typically tend to change by the time we rock into December. Look how far south the snow is falling there. Woo! That's far south. Okay. Don't want to get too far out on the deep end here, but that is a look at what's going on with your forecast. Now, HutchesWeather.com for a little bit of a word for those of you who have stuck around. Word number one, we do have some weather that is going to be making its way through along the north as we go through tomorrow. You can always get your latest information here, and please take care of my sponsors who help me make Hutch's Weather possible, like my friend here at JLA Crop Insurance. Now, you can click on these links that are on my website to visit and learn more about all of these businesses that are supporting Hutch's Weather and making it possible online. JLA Crop Insurance is here for you, and it's run by a small farmer who farms just like many of you do, and has the same concerns as you. And he has different types of insurance products available. Check out JLA Crop Insurance and call my friend Nate and give him a call and have a conversation about how he can serve you and help protect your investment. For now, I will have an update just a little bit later, but enjoy your Monday evening. Enjoy the snow-free view and enjoy the weather while the temperatures are in the 50s, because they won't be there forever.
This has been a Hutch's weather update with Chief Meteorologist Hutch Johnson. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks for watching Hutch's weather.